Hello everyone, welcome to the HevyD Gamecast. I am your host, HevyD. If you have any questions or anything you wanted me to talk about on the show, email us at HevyDGameClub@gmail.com. That's HevyDGameClub@gmail.com. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is actually my first of what I hope to be will be many casts regarding just simply news and stuff that's kind of happening in gaming. So let's kind of jump right in. There are two major game releases that I want to talk about right now that are coming out this week. We have Stardew Valley coming out on the PS4. Obviously, it's been out for a while on the PC, but having it come out on the PS4 is exciting news, and hopefully they can square away modding with it as well. There's also Super Mario Run coming out on iOS, which, unless you are an iOS user, you should be rather lukewarm about. Looks fun, and it looks like something that I would play on my Android if and when it gets a release date. We also have this Friday at both 10 a.m. I think it's 10 a.m. Central and 5 p.m. Central. Limited Run Games is doing a limited run of the PS Vita version of Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD and Firewatch for the PS4. So those are coming out this Friday, and I forgot to kick off with the date. Today's date! It is currently December 13th, 2016, and in the news we had some rather interesting stuff happen today, as with every day. Let's jump right in. So, I guess the PlayStation Awards happened. Kind of embarrassing to talk about news on a cast and not know that this happened, but the Dragon Quest Builders won the Gold Prize and User's Choice Prize. Unfortunately, I don't know what it was in, but I guess the gold prize is good. They, when asked about what thoughts they had about living up to fans' expectations, the director of Dragon Quest Builders said, there are a lot of things I can't say, but since we received this selection regarding the prize, I think we have to return the favor with a good game, and I want to work hard for the time being to live up to your expectations. I think this is very interesting for a number of reasons. One, it almost implies that there actually might be a sequel for Dragon Quest Builders. Now, I thought, considering the sales that they were getting, and considering the fact that Sleeping Dogs, Tomb Raider, and Hitman couldn't live up to Square Enix's expectations, the fact that Dragon Quest Builders might actually see a sequel is some pretty exciting news. Now, I don't know if you've played Dragon Quest Builders. I thought it was an excellent game. I really enjoyed it. I really wish that the digital version had been cross-buy, because I would have loved to play it. I would have loved to swap back and forth between my PS4 and my PS Vita. I had a lot of fun with it, but the game wasn't without its complaints. There were a lot of bizarre things about it. Every time you move from chapter to chapter, you forget everything. You quote-unquote forget everything, and you lose all of your items and stuff like that. It's very, very novel, but not very... It just didn't work. It wasn't fun. And after all, that's what games should be striving to be, is fun. So I found it very strange. But that said, building and combat and just making stuff and talking to people and having quests. Dragon Quest Builders is kind of what I wanted Minecraft to be. And so to see something like that actually possibly, not only win some awards, but to we might be making a sequel and we're definitely listening to player feedback. That's, from a Japanese company, that's huge. But as well, just in the series, just from a series perspective, more Dragon Quest in the West would be fantastic. And to have a sequel to Builders would be fantastic. So that's some really exciting news. Now, just because Square Enix is being talked about, I'm talking about Square Enix, this is something that really pisses me off, in that Square Enix is announcing an announcement, in that there's an anniversary plan, and they're going to talk about it later. But several weeks ago, might have even just been last week, the rumor mill was churning out rumors about, Final Fantasy, they're going to, it's the 30th anniversary, they're going to put out, somebody said that they were going to put out a disc and a physical Final Fantasy collection, and it has Final Fantasies 1 through 9 on a single disc and a single Vita cartridge. And Then they're also gonna put out. They've got like 12 on HD coming out, and then they're also gonna put together a Final Fantasy 13 collection that's gonna come out for the PS4. Blah blah blah. This is Square Enix we're talking about. They aren't. Why would they do that? I guarantee you. I guess I can't guarantee, but really, the amount of money that they must make off of the Final Fantasy series on PSN and Steam alone, I can't imagine why they would ever consider spending the money to put together trophy support, to put together support, because like the Final Fantasy VII version of that's up on the PSN for PS4 has all sorts of added features and just all sorts of crazy stuff that I can't even imagine that they would actually put forth the effort and money to do that. And the only thing that's actually officially been announced has been a Final Fantasy XIV themed real escape game coming across Japan in February. That's exciting. Would love to see it come to the US. But overall, I feel very lukewarm on this announcement of an announcement. If they did put together that Final Fantasy package, that would be incredible. I would buy that in a heartbeat. But primarily for the trophy support. Recently, I just played through Final Fantasies 1 through 3, and I gotta say, trophy support probably would have strung me along a lot better. Final Fantasy 3 especially. Kill me now. But right now, an announcement of an announcement. Let's not get it over our heads here. This is ridiculous. It's probably going to be nothing. So now on to from disappointing news to sour news. It has been. I don't want to say confirmed because really we only have a forum post to go off of and some forum posts on NeoGAF, and GameSpot has reported it. That doesn't mean that this is 100% true, but based on Ubisoft's track record, it appears to be For Honor, the game For Honor that's coming out, which the concept itself seems like it was created by a 14-year-old or a 12-year-old, Wow! What if ninjas and knights fought Vikings? I mean, like unless there's some incredible premise, and I'm not talking about like Martin Lawrence and Black Knight or whatever. I don't remember what the name of that movie was. That might be it. Whatever. It's not going to be good. I don't think this game is going to be good. People are clamoring for this game, and I'm just like, what could possibly make this game good? I mean, like, so many things have to be right with it, and think about all of the Ubisoft games that come out and how many of them just are missing the mark. And you know what? The only thing right now that is keeping this game on my radar is the fact that Watch Dogs 2 doesn't completely suck. So who knows? Maybe Ubisoft knows what they're doing. But this is a company that has blamed piracy for their woes on the PC for over a decade. This is a company that should have lost all goodwill from the gaming community years ago. And here they are. They've got their new game coming out, and they're saying, hey, you gamers, you know what, that practice you don't like, that always-on thing. Remember SimCity and Diablo 3 and just de nouveau DRM and like all of this BS that you've been fed down your throat about how your games need to be online, and we know how much you hate it. Well, we're going to put it into our game, and we're going to do it in the name of piracy. And unless For Honor is only online, and they're stating that the campaign will require an always online connection, which means just the campaign, not multiplayer, I can't even imagine why this would be necessary. But they're forcing you to be online. And why is this a problem? Well, a lot of people are sitting in a city wondering why this is a problem. Well, the problem is we have a strong community of people that just do not have reliable internet access. And I don't know if you've ever been involved with unreliable internet access and playing games that require always on, but it is the absolute worst, okay? Now, I'm not talking about Diablo 3 where you're playing with your friends and you get disconnected all of the time. That sucks, but, that's the nature of the game. To play a single-player campaign and get disconnected from Uplay, all right, which, by the way, does currently happen in games, all right? You're playing your game on Uplay, you get disconnected. in fact, it was the original Watch Dogs on PC where this was happening. You would get disconnected, it would boot you out of the game, wouldn't even save. All right? Now imagine that. Imagine playing through a modern game and having it kick you out to the desktop, all because your connection isn't that stable. All right? And this isn't a thing where it's like, oh, they're too cheap to buy better internet. All right? It's people that simply don't have access to it. I mean, like, nobody would think that, like, oh, I have really crappy internet, and it's like, if I shelled out an extra $10 a month, I could have just a decent internet, but screw that, I mean, like, if you gave a crap at all about your hobby, you would absolutely do that, and that's not what's happening here. There are a lot of people that just simply do not have access to reliable or fast internet. I personally know several people that are struggling to have broadband speeds, okay? I have a friend, I know a guy who has a bonded DSL line. That's two DSL lines working together to provide him less than a megabit and a half per second. Can you even, those of you listening, can you even fathom that? And when it's that slow, it's entirely possible that whatever this process is that's going back and forth between the server requiring the online connection, it may be too slow. There may be a threshold, all right? So I'm not saying get up in arms. I'm not saying rally against Ubisoft, but I mean, it is important to realize why this is a bad practice, and it is important to realize that this is a bad practice, and it's important to realize that this things should be frowned upon. It happened with SimCity. SimCity was such a horrible idea to have it be always online, and very few people liked that functionality, and it should be looked down upon. It should be an optional thing, and it should never be required of the player. And I think the fact that Ubisoft is putting this into For Honor is an abomination, and all the more reason why I probably won't be picking it up. That said, if you're looking forward to the game and you have a stable internet connection, this really shouldn't be a problem for you. So, take it as it is. More good news is that Yooka, the Kickstarter game done by former Rare employees, from the golden age of Rare, are putting together, which, by the way, it really feels like the development time of this was, I really wish I had Kickstarter. I really wish I had backed this, because I have never been more impressed by the development team and how quickly they were able to turn their product around. Yooka has finally gotten a release date. It is April 11th, 2017. They're going to be fighting with people who are playing Persona 5, but that's okay. But they are canceling the Wii U version, citing unforeseen technical issues. Now, to be honest, I think one of those unforeseen technical issues should have been Nintendo canceling their Wii U way out of schedule. But I would imagine that this would result in development work going towards a Switch release. Now, I'm not saying they have a Switch release right around the corner that's going to release with the rest of them, but I have a feeling that Yooka will make its way onto the Switch. And I have a feeling that this is just, the result of Nintendo doing what Nintendo did. So, if you pledged for the Wii U version of the game, I'm sure you got the Kickstarter email, and you know that you can shift that to any of the other versions free of charge. And that sucks, though. It sucks if you only have a Wii U, However, if you do only have a Wii U, maybe now's a good time to jump ship. Although you might just be waiting for a Switch, in which case, you're kind of SOL. So it looks like I always pronounce this wrong. Atelier, Sophie, and Knights of Azure are coming to PC on Steam. Apparently, in February. This is something that I always feel really strange about, because I always see people, especially in the comments section, and less so depending on the website, but sometimes you always see it in the comments section. These stupid PC gamers, why are these guys getting JRPGs? They don't play JRPGs. They're just going to pirate them or something like that. It's always so bizarre to think that somebody would be so vehemently opposed to a company getting more money. And really, someone earlier today told me more money for these companies just means more JRPGs. And that's true. I mean, like, that's such a simple way to look at it, and it's so smart because really that's what it is. You're looking at this the wrong way. More accessibility means more people are going to buy the game, which means more JRPGs, better quality JRPGs, better quality localization, you know? I mean, like, all good things can only come from them getting more money. So, it seems bizarre, but whatever. Me personally, bring it on. I love PC gaming. Hopefully in the next year I can upgrade my graphics card and I can get back on the PC gaming bandwagon. Till then, I'm still buying games for my PlayStation. But guess what? The fact that more people on PCs, because that's what a lot of people on PCs were doing. I think people vastly underestimate the amount of people that own a PC and only buy a PlayStation because they know that they can get JRPGs on it. All right, there are a lot of them. I have. It doesn't matter what I know. It doesn't matter what I know personally. It's just there's a large subset of people, of PC gamers, that would prefer to play JRPGs and just Japanese games in general on their PC because they don't want to buy a PlayStation 4. That was me for a very long time. When I played, I played hardcore EverQuest and Counter-Strike. All right, the two very American games, and would have happily. Every time they did a JRPG on the PC, I went out and bought it, you know, because I wanted to play JRPGs. I didn't have at the time, I guess it was a PS2. Yeah. So just think about that. Horizon Zero Dawn release date is brought forward a couple of days. All right. Now this is a practice that you almost never see in the gaming industry, and for good reason. I mean, like, it's difficult. It takes forever to develop a game. Not only does it take forever to develop a game, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And even with proper project management, you know, I mean, you can't time budget for a bug, you know, a really nasty bug, or just anything, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But this is really good news for those of us, and I'm included in this because I think Horizon Zero Dawn looks awesome. It'll launch 2 days earlier than planned in the UK. Good for them. It'll apparently launch on the 1st of March in 2017. This is really cool. This is really cool to see, and this isn't the first time this has happened either. There have been several, I want to say maybe 2 releases of recent that have actually had release dates brought up, not pushed back, and I think that's really cool. This is being developed by Guerrilla, right? Yeah, and sorry about that. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn looks incredibly awesome. Honestly, I think PlayStation has some really cool games coming out next year, and I think this is one of them. And this looks like it's just going to consume a good deal of my time, and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate them bringing it up. Obviously, I'm not in the UK, but it's exciting for those guys. It's especially exciting for those guys because if you pay attention at all to the physical releases of video games, you'll know that Europe kind of gets screwed sometimes, especially when it comes to things like collector's editions and stuff like that. Now, that said, there are some times when Europe really comes out ahead, and sometimes there's just like box art that looks way better in Europe. I personally think Dreamcast games look super awesome, the PAL versions of them. So there's that, I guess. But yeah, for the most part, the UK and Europe kind of get screwed. They have an advantage with Guerrilla being over in Europe, but that's that. And finally, here on December 13th, 2016, we have the last bit of news that I want to talk about, at least, is the Winter Wonderland Overwatch patch, which I'm going to be playing as soon as I'm done recording this. It's just Overwatch is known for doing their patches for patches, for doing their themed holiday things, and they're doing one for Christmas this year. Lots of Christmassy skins, icy skins, and my favorite, which is a Yeti Winston. And everything is super adorable, including the video they released, which I would highly recommend watching. I'll probably put it in the comments of the. I'll definitely put it in the comments of the post here. But 3 maps will be, 3 maps will be decked out with all sorts of different festive themes and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of people get new skins and new animations and stuff like that. Just overall looks really good. So that's that. That's it for the news today. If I missed anything, or if there's anything you just want me to talk about, or any news you want me to focus on, you can hit me up at HevyDGameClub@gmail.com. That's HEVYD GameClub@gmail.com. Until then, hopefully I'll see you again. This is your host HevyD signing off.